To another Fox News alert. It is a big night on Capitol Hill as President Trump's agenda hangs in the balance.
We're on track, working around the clock to deliver this nation-shaping legislation for the American people as soon as possible. The Budget Committee will reconvene this evening. They'll get that through the committee, and the plan is to move it to the Rules Committee by midweek and to the House floor by the end of the week, so we meet our original Memorial Day deadline. This is the vehicle through which we will deliver on the mandate that the American people gave us in the last election.
We are just hours away from the House Budget Committee's vote to advance President Trump's big, beautiful bill. They are set to decide its fate at 10 p.m. tonight, and Speaker Johnson is confident they will get it done. The legislation targets over $1 trillion in spending cuts while slashing taxes on tips and overtime and extending the 2017 Trump tax cuts. Speaker Johnson has to win over 5 GOP House members who voted against the bill on Friday, and he needs all the votes he can get because Democrats are doing everything they can to obstruct Trump's agenda.
This spending bill is terrible, and I think the American people know that.
And I made a very simple case that the Republican budget is not going to help working class folks.
This budget bill is an absolute disaster. It is going to kick over 10 million people off of their health care.
And Democrat Al Green is taking it a step further, saying he wants to force a vote to impeach Trump. Wow. Here we go again, huh? I mean, that really can't happen, right?
Well, look, those 4 Democrats are the best endorsement for passing the bill that the Republicans can possibly do. All they need to do is, in the locker room, so to speak, show that video and then say, oh, OK, we pretty much are on track. Look, The holdouts in the House Budget Committee, what they're saying is we need to accelerate the idea that we need to make these reforms faster. Some of these don't kick in until 2029. They want to do them in 2026. The lies that the Democrats are spreading out there, just not true. We're not kicking 10 million people off of their health care insurance. That's just a bold-faced lie. But they also want to see more substantive cuts in actual spending. And look at all the progress that DOGE has made over the last few months. Are those codified? They want to make sure that they are.
Well, why don't we put up on the screen? I read some of them in the introduction, but some of the things that are in this bill. Let's go ahead and put that up there. I can't read it from here, but you can see on the screen. Here we go. OK. The bill would fund Trump's border wall, tax relief to Social Security recipients, enhanced employer-provided child care credit, removal of funding for Planned Parenthood, no taxes on gun silencers, and a host of other things that we discussed, no taxes on tips and overtime, extension of the tax credits from 2017, a number of things. So, Lisa, what do you think happens?
Well, I just would remind everyone that Republicans were given a political mandate in this past presidential election for the America First agenda. Republicans have majorities in the House and the Senate because of President Trump, because he was at the top of the ticket. So Americans want to see this get done. I think we're looking at probably a July 15th as a soft deadline. That's when the Treasury Secretary said that he would like the debt limit by. We heard the Speaker, Mike Johnson, say that they'll have a vote next week in the House. I suspect that the Senate will probably get its work done after the 4th of July recess. Just a reminder, they're using the budget reconciliation process because it allows Republicans to get this done in the Senate with a simple majority. We've already seen some snags in the process with 5 Republicans voting against this in the House Budget Committee on Friday. So, of course, we're working with tight margins in both the House and the Senate to try to get this done. But as you laid out, those big ticket items, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, of course, border security as well. So these are agenda items that he staked his campaign on, and Americans voted for.
And Joe, as Lisa points out, this is a time where Republicans have the House and the Senate. So what are the optics around getting this passed? Because, the midterms are, I don't know, they're not around the corner, but they're coming up, and then the dynamic could change.
Yeah, Anita, let me add a disclaimer to what you said. They have the House and the Senate barely.
Yeah, barely.
Right?
Barely, yeah.
Especially in the House. And I used to be a sports writer. And you would award during each season for professional sports an MVP. And right now, the MVP, right, in Washington for Donald Trump is Mike Johnson, because he is herding cats, right, where he has almost no majority, and he's been able to pass some things already. If he can get this thing through, get it to the Senate, get it through reconciliation, House and Senate kind of, go back and forth, and it gets to the president's desk, and this thing passes, this big, beautiful bill with all these tax cuts that are in here, Democrats have nothing to run on in 2026. They can't run on foreign policy, they can't run on the border, and they can't run on the economy. So if that happens, trust me, Mike Johnson is your MVP right now.
Yeah. Well, he sounds pretty confident. We'll see what happens.
He does sound confident.
Yeah, he does. All right. And then Democrats, what about them? Well, they can't get out of their own way. The Hill is reporting that the DNC fight over David Hogg and his primary push is threatening to throw the party into chaos. But even with the Dems in disarray, the GOP can't lose sight of the midterms, as I just mentioned. According to the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, there are 35 House Republican seats being targeted by the Democrats. And on the other side of Congress, there are 2 Senate Republicans who are considered vulnerable, according to the Cook Political Report, Susan Collins and Tom Tillis. Okay, so what about this? What about this disarray in the Democratic Party? Jason.
Well, it's almost laughable if the Democrats think they can peel off 35 Republicans. That ain't going to happen. To Joe's point, pass this bill, implement the president's agenda. The president's approval rating will continue to rise. The Democrats, they don't have a voice. They don't have a message. Their only message is resistance. They don't have a leader. Other than that, things are going quite swimmingly for the Democrats.
But Lisa,
Just that? That's
just
it?
that.
Yeah.
You worked in politics.
I did.
So is it smart that the Democrats are targeting these 35 at this point? Because I think the midterms are 18 months away, maybe. But it comes up before you know it.
Yeah, we're a lifetime away in politics. I mean, I remember working at the NRCC, the National Republican Congressional Committee, in 2010. And we, day by day, I mean, obviously that was an election. We had huge gains in the House for Republicans, and our target list just started growing. We ended up winning races that we weren't even targeting. That's how good of a cycle it was for us. But if you dig in a little bit of the numbers, a little bit further of those Republicans that they are targeting, the Center for Politics, there are only 3 House Republicans, and they're skilled incumbent Republicans who hold districts that Harris carried in 2024. And then you look on the Democrat side, there are 13 Democrats in Trump-won districts. So those prospects look pretty good for Republicans when you look at that. I will also just one caveat that if you look at the Real Clear Politics average, Democrats are up in the congressional ballot. So, you try to read the tea leaves a little bit early and, a bunch of different information all around. So we'll continue to cover it.
Joe, I feel like there was just one big election and now we're already talking about the midterms.
It never ends.
Yeah, we're only 4 months into this administration. Yeah. It feels like 4 years, considering everything that Donald Trump has done. But DOGE was created for a reason. And Elon Musk and his team have found what they say is 1.6, more than that, actually, 165 billion, excuse me, to get that number off my chest. If those things aren't implemented, if they don't make those cuts, Republicans show that they're just like they were in the past, where you don't make the cuts that you've been recommended because you're afraid of losing re-election and you act like a Democrat. I'm sorry, that's going to cost them in the midterm. So hopefully they embrace these cuts that DOGE has found, and you get the feeling that some are a little bit weak-kneed in terms of doing that.
Joe, did it feel good to get that number off your chest?
It did, yes, exactly.
You've just been keeping it in there.
165 billion, damn it. There it is.
All right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.